Everyone, we are here to have an opportunity to hear from people who would like to be a member of our city council. And we're going to do this in a way that I believe will be easy to get to, but I know that it can also be sort of a little bit of like tension around it. But what I'd like to do is begin with our staff having introductions so that you know who they are, and these are the folks that helped put this together so that we could have this meeting. And we'll start with our city clerk.
Billy Tons, Deputy City Clerk.
Lena James, Deputy City Attorney.
Anthony Fox, Interim City Attorney.
Good afternoon, Renee Johnson, District 4.
Good afternoon, Marjorie Molina, District 5.
Good afternoon, Dante Anderson, Mayor Pro Tem, District 1.
Good afternoon, Vi Lyles.
Malcolm Graham, District 2.
Luana Mayfield at large.
Victoria Watlington at large.
All right, so we're going to begin on this with, I believe we're going to have a review from our Deputy City Attorney or the clerk.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So the applicants that we received, the deadline was Tuesday, May 13th, 2025 at 5:00 p.m. We received 12 applications. Out of the 12 that we received using the North Carolina Board of Elections website, we were able to verify that 9 candidates are eligible. And when I say eligible, to be eligible, a candidate must be registered voter in Mecklenburg County, be at least 21 years of age, be a registered Republican, and reside in District 6. Again, we were able to verify that 9 of the 12 of those applicants were eligible. So today we have 4 people that signed up to speak. Each person will be given 5 minutes, and the council will have 10 minutes to discuss or ask questions of the candidate.
All right. Anything else, Mrs.?
Do you have anything?
Mayor and council members, I was just going to share with respect to the 3 applicants who we've deemed ineligible. For 2 of them, the party affiliation does not match what the law requires because you have partisan elections. In Charlotte, it requires that the person appointed to fill a term has to be of the same party, and so that did not match for 2 of the applicants. For the 3rd person that we deemed ineligible, they need to have an address that reflects District 6, and in this case, we didn't have that based on verification through the clerk's office and the North Carolina Board of Elections site. So just wanted to share that context for the 3 ineligible.
All right. So as you've heard, there are some people that were not judged ineligible, and then we have several that have been judged as eligible. And so with this, we have, I believe, our opportunity to, does our city attorney have any questions or comments?
Go ahead.
I was just going to add, it's our understanding from the clerk's office that there may be one of the candidates who is not eligible, who may be present in the room, I'm not sure. But to the extent the public forum is intended to be for candidates who are eligible to be appointed to the position, I would say that would be 4 applicants.
All right, thank you. And we have, do you want to read out the list of those that are not judged eligible?
To clarify, those that are not eligible, Madam Mayor?
Yes, go ahead, Billy.
The ones that were not eligible were Grayson Sandelin, Asherdy Welby, and Larisha Poor. Those 3 candidates are not eligible.
All right. Thank you very much. And so now we can move forward to those that are eligible, that are asked to be able to speak tonight or this afternoon. So our first speaker is Sherry Shaka. Mr. Shaka, you can come to the podium. There's a microphone up there. You'll have 5 minutes, and then council will have some time in addition if there are additional questions. All right, thank you very much. We won't even start the clock until you get up there.
Okay. May I start?
Yes, please.
Good afternoon, Mayor Lyles, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, and fellow Charlotteans. My name is Sari Chakra. That's pronounced Gary with an S. And I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today. It's a true honor to do so, to be speaking with the government officials who shape our Queen City. I'm a first-generation Lebanese American born in 1991 right here in Charlotte. I've lived in districts 1, 4, 5, and now for the last few years, my wife Hannah and I have made District 6 our home. This city raised me, and I've chosen to build my life and future here. I work in the stormwater and infrastructure construction, where city policy becomes reality. And I manage properties where I deal directly with budgets, code enforcement, and quality of life issues that matter to everyday people. I've also served on my neighborhood HOA board and worked hand in hand with residents to solve real problems. That's the kind of hands-on leadership I believe our district needs. I've spent the last 2 years following council and committee meetings through the city's website and the YouTube channel, not just watching, but paying close attention. Councilmember Driggs and Councilmember Graham brought important awareness to a key consideration, whether the person selected to fill the seat should also be someone who plans to run this fall. I want to be fully transparent with this council and the public. Yes, I plan to run. I've been preparing to file in July regardless of this vacancy. I understand and respect that the concerns expressed, including Councilmember Graham's point that, character matters and that breaking your word would speak volumes. That's exactly why I'm being clear and honest today. I'm not here to take advantage of the process. I'm here because I care deeply about District 6, and I believe that I have the ability to serve now and in the future. My decision to run is not in conflict with my character. It's a reflection of it. Councilmember Bukhari served this district for many years, and I respect his contributions. I also want to wish him continued success in his new role as Deputy Administrator at the Federal Transit Administration. Before his departure, Councilmember Bukhari expressed hope that whoever filled his seat would continue to prioritize public safety and infrastructure, two areas I care deeply about. These aren't just priorities I talk about. They reflect the work I do every day and the values I plan to carry forward with the purpose and accountability. Charlotte is my home. District 6 is where I've chosen to serve. If selected, I'll bring a respectful and hardworking approach to this seat. I'll be a voice for our neighbors and a bridge for this community. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right, our next speaker is Andy Doolin.
Mayor and council, one question we would ask is,
Oh,
I
I'm
believe
sorry, I
the
forgot
5
to
minutes,
ask
you wanted
if
to
there
do
are
your 10 minutes of
questions
questions, either after they speak.
Our first applicant, so I'm sorry, if you would just give us a moment. Are there any questions for our applicant? Back up here, yeah, that'd be
I got
good.
a process question. Did you say we could wait until the end to ask questions? Because I may have a question that I have for each one.
I think you could. I mean, I think
then
if you
I'll
want to
hold
hear
mine.
from all the candidates, 5 minutes each, and the idea was to have 10 minutes for council to ask questions of each candidate.
Okay, I'll wait.
Okay, you're going to wait? All right, so thank you. All
Thank you
right.
very much.
Okay, Mr. Doolin.
This suit doesn't fit as well as it used to. Thank you, Mayor and council members. My name is Andy Doolin, and I've found over the years, over the several hundred neighborhood meetings and HOA meetings and church meetings I've gone to, if I let my heart be my speechwriter, it always comes out best. So I'm down here this afternoon with nothing written down other than what my heart is going to say. So let's just spend a couple of minutes and see what it comes up with. As most of you know, I had a really wonderful run on city council from 2005 to 2013. Great people, great work done. The work we did at the airport, I'm so proud of that airport we've built and the economic engine that that airport has provided and will continue to provide for our community. Going as a council member on the district level in City Council District 6 all those years, I know every corner, And most of the front doors, because I've knocked on them all those years saying hello for either myself or other candidates over the years. And so I'm intimately aware of where they are, who those folks are, and in most cases, what their needs were and will be. I'm just thrilled to have the opportunity to come down here for a short period of time. I do not plan to run in the fall. What I'd like to do is to come and join council again on the dais and work on your 5 focus areas are good ones, you know, and I'd really like neighborhood, community safety, transportation. I'm particularly interested in economic development, to bring more folks. All these apartments that we've been zoning all these years, I drive around going, oh, for goodness sakes, where are these kids coming from? Well, we have to make a city, and we've made a city. We're growing a city where people want to come live here. And it's our job to make it a place folks want to come, to make it a place when they graduate from college and they move to Charlotte, their folks, whether they're in Ohio or where it might be, they're pleased that their kids are living in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'd like to come do that for a little while with y'all and help you move forward with what you're doing. City Council is working on some awfully big stuff now. Give me a chance to sit at the table with you again, and I'll work on the little stuff. The pothole. There won't be any potholes left in District 6 when I'm done. We're going to fix the pothole problem. And those folks, and when I was on city council before, the only telephone number on my business card was my cell phone number. I cut out the middleman, and people, if they had my number, they would call me, and then I'd get started on it. And that way, staff didn't have to worry about it. They would call me, and I'd say, yes, ma'am, or yes, sir, I'm coming over there to see you this afternoon to see what the problem is. And then we'd get started. And that's what I'd like to do for the next 5, 6 months, whatever that number of months are. Thank you very much, Mayor and Council.
Thank you very much again.
How'd my heart do?
It did fine. So we'll see more, maybe the answers that your heart will make from questions.
We'll
at
see
the
how
end.
it does.
So let's see how
Thank
that
you.
goes. So thank you. Our next speaker is Andrew Dunn.
Mayor, again, I'll just check to see if you have questions for Mr. Doolin or if you want to hold till the end.
I thought that we were going to do this, all questions later. Isn't that what your request was? At the end, we'll come back. And do you have something right now? You have what? Oh, you're right. Thank you. We can go with that. So Andy was, and now Edwin Peacock.
Mayor, Council, pleasure to be with you. My name's Edwin Peacock. I'm here before you today for 3 reasons. Number 1, I believe that I'm qualified. Number 2, I have experience. And number 3, and I think perhaps most importantly, I have perspective. I thought I'd take the next minute or so just to tell you who I am and give you an introduction for some of the colleagues here who don't know me. I grew up in District 6 in a little neighborhood called Lansdowne. Went to Lansdowne Elementary. My mother, before I was born, was a CMS art teacher. My father was a life insurance salesman. And when I was 4 years old, my dad was elected to the county commission and served with distinction until 1980. And then he served from 1981 to 1983 on this dais. And part of the reason that I got infected with the service bug had a lot to do with my father and the example that he set for me. I went on to First Ward Elementary, went from there to Charlotte Country Day, where I went to middle school and I graduated. And then I went to the University of Georgia, where I thought my calling was to play baseball as a left-handed pitcher, but Coach Steve Weber did not agree with that, and I only got as far as the practice squad. I met my college sweetheart there, which I think was probably the absolute best decision I've ever made, without a question, and I met my wife there. When we graduated, I chased her to Metro Washington, D.C. I began my career not in politics in Washington. I began my career as a mortgage loan officer, helping people to qualify and to be educated about making the largest financial purchase that they would make in their life. Asterisk on that, I was always curious about my time in rolling up my sleeves with homeowners and looking at credit reports and asking questions about income. But boy, did that come in helpful when I got elected to city council and we started talking about housing and the importance of that. And obviously, where we want to see everybody in Charlotte, we don't want to see them just have shelter. We want to see them have a place that they can rent, but ultimately own and build equity in the community. So I left Washington, D.C. with a 1-month-old and moved back to Charlotte in 2003. Amy and I had our second child 16 months later. And then my ventures in service began at something called Rotary. I joined the Rotary Club of Charlotte in 2003. At that time, I had no idea what this great international service organization was. I was in the buffet line, and I bumped into, many people here know, the former executive director, Dee Dee Murphy from Leadership Charlotte. And she asked me, was I going to apply to Leadership Charlotte? And I'd already applied twice, and I didn't get in. And I told her, I said, Dee Dee, I'm a baseball player. I take 3 swings at everything. And so I applied, and I got in. And if anybody's been through the program, it gives you an incredible kaleidoscope view of this great community. And when we finish, you know that you're called to do something. And not many of my classmates thought to run for office, but I did. And that was what got me here and when I was blessed to be elected in 2007 and served with you for 4 years. So I'm back seeking the position for 6 months. I've indicated on my application that I don't intend to run for the seat or run for office. I hope that I can answer any questions that you all have about my background or experience that I've listed on my resume. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. Our last speaker is James Frederick Rice.
Well, hello. I guess I'm last. Tail end Charlie. My name is Fred Rice. I apologize. I woke up this morning and my voice was gone. I'm not sure what that's about. I've been in Charlotte, not in politics in any way, since 1983. I moved here from Florida to be the manager of a large medical practice. I got there by being born in Philadelphia and leaving when I was 5. My father moved around a lot, and he was a part-time soldier. And one of the things, he took us to Florida where I started the first grade. That was my 3rd move, by the way, by that point. He went off to war in Korea. He was gone for 33 months in combat. He kept volunteering to go back. When he returned, he was not the same man. And he and my family, he decided to be a paratrooper of all things. So we moved with the 11th Airborne to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, where I spent, I guess that was by then the 3rd through this part of the 6th grade. And then he took a job in Miami. He always wanted to go to Florida, so off we went to Miami. That lasted for a few years. I spent another 5th and 6th and part of the 7th grade in Miami. And then the Korean War never left my dad. He never left the Korean War, and he and my mother divorced. I was in the 7th grade. Pardon my voice. My mother was looking for employment, and she moved her family at that point. Give me a second. With my 2 younger sisters rather, we moved to a small town in Central Florida. I mean small, less than 5,000 people. And where she could find employment, and that's where we were. Thank you. I poured one and forgot it, so thank you so much. We stayed in that small town where I did part of the 7th grade, and then the 8th, and 9th, and 10th grade in a very small school. Each of the classrooms was one whole class. She moved to the next largest town, around 15,000 people, where I finished my basic education, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. Graduated from Haines City High School in '62. Was fortunate enough to get into the University of Florida in '63. I'm a Gator. Somebody else is a Gator. My children are Gators, by the way. But I found out when I got there that as try as I could not find a way to finance any education beyond my first year. I had managed to accumulate $1,500 in debt at a local bank. There was no student loan back then. And with my mother's signature, I was 18 years old, pretty bright, motivated, but there's no money. So I went back home, decided that I might as well go into the military and get it over with. Now, this was '63, so things were quiet at that point. I went, excuse me, there's a point to this. I went to see my high school principal, and I'd always worked. I'd never had an allowance, never. It was always what I made. When you're a young teenager, that's mowing yards and stuff like that. He took me to see my local banker, local bank president, and he told me he wanted to interview me for an idea he had, and we did. We talked for 3 hours. And the 3-hour interview resulted in him offering me a chance to, in effect, work for him.
I'm sorry
5
that we
minutes?
have to stop at this point.
Okay.
And unless you have a closing
I do.
statement or
Okay. Sorry,
sentence.
I spent a career in banking in Florida. I came to Charlotte managing large medical practices. I was recruited by the Carolinas healthcare system as a senior VP for physician practice acquisition in 1993.
So you must have had a great experience in our city in healthcare. You've seen banking and healthcare.
Yep.
So thank you very much
Okay.
for helping us, reminding us of how important some of the things that we do
Well,
today.
my
Thank
point
you.
there is that there are two things in our lives that are very important to us, our health care and our money. And I'm very experienced at managing both of those. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, now it's time to open the floor for the council members for any, if you have a question, please
Madam Mayor.
direct it to the correct
Madam Mayor.
candidate. I'm sorry.
If I could interrupt just for a moment. So we do have an applicant here, Miss Larisha Poor, who was able to show me the correct spelling of her name. And I was able to pull it up on the North Carolina Board of Elections that she is a registered Republican voter, which means she would be eligible
Thank
to
you.
speak today, if that's.
Thank you for stepping up and making sure that that happens. So we will now have another speaker. And let's see, Ms. Poor, is it? Larisha. All right, thank you very much for coming in, and thank you for standing up.
Thank you. Good evening. Again, my name is Larisha Poor, and thank you to the mayor and to the city council for taking out the time to hear me introduce myself on the importance of this role and opportunity to be able to sit on the council. I am a proud resident of District 6, Mecklenburg County, and of course, of Charlotte. I did not submit this application with light intentions. This application is submitted with pride, and I sought after the opportunity to share insight, collaborate, and to partner with the existing council members to ensure that we are able to overturn disparities in our city. Yes, we have our 5 great points. You know, for me, the one that stands out the most is having a great neighborhood. I take pride in my neighborhood, where I reside. It's important to me because I made Charlotte my home 19 years ago when I'm a transplant from Ohio. It is now a place where I can stand proud to say I can recommend people to move here. As we know, monthly, several people are moving here because of the wealth and the opportunity and the place of hope that Charlotte provides. My integral background that I have is to make a positive change with influence, to be able to see the success of the initiatives and the goals that the city has already put into place in the first quarter, the things that you've already accomplished, to really make sure that we're pushing and thrusting forward by making sure the information is shared properly and to all people, to make sure that people are aware that it's important to vote and to be a part of these meetings just like this. I currently, right now, work for Mecklenburg County, which I take pride in working there. I work there not only because I'm a survivor of domestic violence and sexual assault, where I volunteered in this community, and this city helped me to get back to where I was to stand proud in front of this forum. I go into schools every day through CMS to be able to share about the awareness of teen dating violence. And I hear young people share wise beyond their years of the challenges that 1 in 3 teens will experience dating violence. That's important to me in my city. How can we overturn this? How can we make sure that we're able to change that number and to turn it around for the good? It's because of conversations that are held right in this meeting setting. It's important that we continue to communicate prosperity and positivity in our community because there's so many tragedies and things that are happening, but there's so much light and hope in this city that if we all thrust forward in the area of that, we will be able to continue to tear down the things that have been trying to hold our city back. Our areas and communities need our support, and that's what I'm here to do. My dad raised me to have my boots on the ground. My first job in the Board of Elections in Ohio, making sure that I was aware of the House and the Senate, to make sure that I was a registered voter at a very young age, to make sure that I encouraged people to vote. Our voice must be heard. And if given the opportunity to be able to sit on the council, I will continue to encourage people to let them know that their voice matters. The issues that happen, that are going on, that may be small to someone, can be brought right to this forum, and things I've seen this council overturn and make a difference. If given the opportunity, I do plan on running in the fall to be able to fill the seat and to run it, and I'm excited because I never thought that I would be able to have this opportunity to do this. Sometimes you think that the world has counted you out or you've been knocked down. Being able to stand up flat-footed and know what you stand for and know what you're going to do provides a positive influence and makes a mark on the stage of where our city is going. Look at us. The Umbrella Center is about to be built in 16 months. That's major. And the city of Charlotte is supporting that. Look at what we've done, not just with the airport, but all the laws and things that have changed to make our city a better place. If given the opportunity, I will support those things and make sure my voice is heard because my community is my voice. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Does this close our portion of the presentation? And so if we'll now open this to the council members to acknowledge, or I think if you could just have a question towards and direct it to the person or the persons that you would like to. I'm going to start with the Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you all for coming out and taking time out of your day to speak to us. I greatly appreciate that. I have a question for Mr. Peacock and Mr. Doolin, if you could both go to the podium. I mean, your unique experience of having served on this council before at different times and on different initiatives. I'm interested in any difference that you would bring to this seat representing District 6. So based on your past experience, is there anything that we're missing on this council as it relates to District 6 or the broader city in general?
Yeah, thank you, Pro Tem. It turns out one of the things both of us would bring, and particularly since you're in your budget season now, it takes 2 years, as you know, during budget season to know how to open your book and to read it and to learn it and to understand it sometimes. One of the things I would bring is immediate awareness of the budget book and the agendas that come every week, knowing what tab to go to so I can start learning. I think the ramp up for me, particularly in District 6, after having served it for 8 years already, will be very small. There'll certainly be some ramp up because it's been a number of years since I've been down here. It's wonderful to walk through this building again, though. It feels like home. This room feels like home. And so I'm just excited about if y'all would give me the honor and the nod to come back down and join you. My ramp up will be very small. As a district rep, you see every corner, every house. As an at-large member, the at-large folks are thinking on a more global stage, you know, everything. Of course, as a district guy, we make decisions for zoning all over the city. But I am laser focused in District 6 and know those folks and know their churches and would really have a good time going back and reintroducing myself to them again. I'm hearing positive things from all over the community already that it's come out in the paper and a couple of media outlets, you know, that I'm involved in, and so the positive outlook for that would be great. And with y'all's nod, I'll come down here with my boots strapped up and tight and ready to go.
Thank you, sir. I greatly appreciate it. Can
Yes,
we
ma'am.
give Mr. Peacock an opportunity?
All right. Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. Are you missing anything? I don't think you're missing anything. When I made my point about perspective, when I was here 14 years ago, and when you step away from the dais and you move away from what I call the fishbowl effect of 600 East 4th Street, you tend to notice first and foremost that obviously the smallest ripples in the bowl seem really, really, really big in the moment. But when you step outside of it, it really allows you the perspective to see, well, what is most important? And during Andy and I's time here, you didn't know it when it was occurring, but we had one of those, what I'll call lighthouse moments. We were the lighthouse looking at a decision to use our half-cent sales tax to expand bus rapid transit and then cut the line for the light rail. And there was an enormous amount at risk. The year that I was elected, we had members of my own party who were against light rail, who were against a mass transit program. Then Mayor McCrory was making some very bold decisions that both sides, he had all types of people angry at him, but he followed staff's recommendations. He bucked trend of his own party, and our town had a referendum on that half-cent sales tax. And I think when you talk about what's missing, it's just simply just trying to have perspective, because I know what it's like to be where you are and to sort of feel that intense pressure. But between now and when this council finishes, the 1st of December, you know, I don't think that you're missing anything. I would just say, you know, perspective. Keep your lighthouse up and just realize that the small things that occur, it's natural in a small deliberative body. And the more that you can do to obviously work on the relationships between each other, One of the other perspectives that I thought about was something that my dad talked to me about. He said, Edwin, I don't remember a vote. I don't remember a lot of these things that we would debate, but I do remember how my colleagues would make me feel. And it sort of comes back to something that my grandmother told me, which was people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And right here in this very room, in 2009, my mother got diagnosed with ovarian cancer. She was down in Wilmington at the time, at the beach. And Councilmember Turner, sitting right where you are, Mrs. Anderson, he leaned over to me and I told him what was going on. And all he did was just stop right there and said, "It's not your mom's time. Let's pray." I'll never forget that. Never forget that. That went on with Councilmember Mitchell and other condolences and all kinds of things just about what was going on. So relationships, having that kind of lighthouse perspective, I think is just so important because, again, this is tough work and you all do something that very few people are willing to step in to do. So I have great humility and respect for the position that you're in, and I think that I would do well.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
All right. Any other, Ms. Molina?
Thank you so much, Madam Mayor. First of all, I just want to say thank you to every last one of you that decided to step up and come out today. I know from personal experience, and the Mayor Pro Tem also knows what this particular experience is like. I'd be remiss if I didn't comment on, my heart is my center. It is how I do everything. I don't do anything that my heart don't lead me to. It is my deal maker and my deal breaker. And I think what was evident from every last one of you was the fact that it was demonstrative of your heart in the position. And that's what it takes to lead here. I'll go back to what Mr. Peacock just said. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that's the core of what we do, right? The core of what we do is caring about the people that we have the honor to represent. So, like I said, I just think that that was demonstrative in each of you, and I think that's highly commendable. So, no matter what the outcome of this exercise is, I commend you and I ask you to continue to look for ways that you can serve in our city because there's room for everyone. It takes a village to be a great city. It takes a village to lead, and everyone who leads doesn't sit at the dais. We need help at every angle. We need partners to do all of the things that we do. And I just encourage continued participation no matter what, to say, just to be a part of the positive and how our city evolves. So I was a volunteer long before I ever considered public office on any level, and those relationships are essential. So with that, I noticed that, and I'll start with you, Mr. Peacock, and then I'll ask you as well, Mr. Doolin. I think it's important that, especially now with the budget season underway, this is a very intense exercise, as you both know. But one of the things that I think is of particular emphasis right now is the 1-cent sales tax. And adjacent to what has happened in the past with the half-cent sales tax, you sound to be adept at that particular milestone of the city's evolution. But can you tell me what you know about the current referendum or anything that would affect particularly the District 6 residents and having some compass of what their position would be?
Well, I've been on the record of being very much in favor of our mass transit plan and our economic mobility plan, are clearly a multimodal transit plan. And part of that half-cent sales tax discussion that we had in 2007 is largely proven to be exactly what ULI told us, clearly what the city staff planners told us about the opportunity for improvement, not only in reducing congestion, but clearly economic development, and you see that in tenfold from there. As we approach the 1 cent sales tax, the one thing I've learned is that you can't take this for granted. We can't assume that what the consultants are telling you speak to the sentiment of what individuals are. And I can only speak back to other referendum attempts that were for different purposes. But one thing that I have noticed is that, of course, we've got election fatigue from last year. So we have to have a council that can communicate and communicate clearly and concisely in order to build the momentum necessary in order to get, I would call, general election support to get behind this necessary tax for to expand the bus rapid transit. Still, the majority of the ways in which individuals travel in this city, innovations are occurring in that, and then obviously the light rail plans are a big part of it. So I just would say that we cannot take it for granted that we can't assume that individuals are going to support this. In fact, you want to almost operate as if they've never heard of this. And I just think that's so important. Every single member of the council will have to make their own individual decisions as to how much they want to get involved in being out front about it. But it's going to be tremendously important, because you look at that decision that we made in 2007, if we didn't do that, where would we be now? And would we have experienced the type of growth that we've experienced now? And I think the answer is not as much. And I think there was an enormous amount within the business community, which I'd like to see come back and rally around what this council is doing, and obviously partner with Mecklenburg County and our other elected officials as well, too, because the thing about that referendum was it was broad-based. Faith community, business community, elected bodies, corporate community, people were really engaged. And I think that's so important. I want to see that energy return to the community to get behind a real transit plan that speaks to everybody and is also nimble enough to respond to, I think, obviously the outliers that have their concerns, which are obviously the 6 towns. They're always going to be skeptical of something that comes from uptown.
Thank you. Mr. Doolin?
Yes, thank you for the question, ma'am. District 6 is a unique district within the city of Charlotte. It's the only one that doesn't have an interstate or Independence Boulevard or South Boulevard or 485. It is really contained in a somewhat urban environment. I mean, we don't have 277. That being said, though, and he makes a good point, District 6 voters supported that referendum. And what would be helpful to council and to the city is to have a salesman like myself to go out and sell it at the HOA meetings and, sell it at the churches, when they get together. And I used to get the list of every HOA meeting, and darned if I didn't go to 99% of them. And so that's one of the part when I said that the city council is thinking on a global stage, globally being the whole city. Well, District 6 is this little enclave in South Charlotte that doesn't have a mass transit line coming through. We have bus service, and the buses have folks on them because I look. But that's particular question is something that I think I would be good at helping sell to the community.
Thank you so much. And that's all I have for now, Madam Mayor.
And any other questions down here? Ms. Watlington?
Thank you. My questions are I got a couple questions for 2 gentlemen here, and then I've got questions for the other 3. I'll start with the other 3. Yeah.
So, I'm sorry.
Oh, I have the same questions for the 3 of you that have not spoken yet. For Sari, it's Gary with an S. Yeah. Sari, Larisha, and James.
Hey.
Thank you. You remembered it.
Of course. While we're just waiting for, I'm sure you'll come up later. So obviously, you all don't have the benefit of having served on council at one time. But I don't want to take that for granted that that is not also an advantage. So I just wanted to give you an opportunity to speak to why or why not your experience as it is a competitive advantage.
Would you like to go first?
Sure. Thank you. So, as you stated, and thank you for the question, no, I have not served on an actual council as of yet. That is my goal. But I do have a vast experience of going into the community and rallying together people to hear about the issues that are coming across the table. Whether that is at churches, within the community, when we're at the Domestic Violence Speakers Bureau, when I'm at community functions, town halls, in District 6. I just recently went to one with our Senator Woodson Bradley, and we talked about the actual 1 cent increase there. And to be able to hear people in that district to be able to talk about that and to see what were the reasons why if they did or they did not want to approve it. And so what I bring to the table is a listening ear, and then provide the benefits of why this is necessary. We are growing at an exponential amount here in Charlotte. We know that not everybody is going to be in favor of any rule or any bill that comes across the table, but the goal is to find out what are the pros and what are the cons of it, how is it going to benefit, how is it going to make it better. And so my influence that I've used throughout my work experience and my volunteering is that we have to hear it out. We have to be able to have these discussions. And when you meet people where they are and you discuss what is going on in their community, they're able to see it. When you're close on the ground talking to them or at that level, in their sanctuary, at their place, they will be able to hear you out, and that's important. Now, what I do know is that we're talking about the 1% increased sales tax. There's so many other issues that come across that may not be as big to some or large to some or small to others, but it's important that no matter what the issue is, their issue is going to be heard. Even if we can't give them an answer, we can still try to at least put it before them. And that's what gives the support of the community whenever you're putting out a bill, is that people want to know that they can at least be heard. Their problem issue being heard. And I have the emotional intelligence to be able to decipher, to be able to handle those challenging conversations and be able to dissect, this is the benefit or this is how it could go against, and make sure people feel comfortable in making that decision, because that's what it's all about.
Thank you.
Again, Sari Chakra. I want to say, I did apply. I believe somebody had brought up the civic leadership course through the city. I did apply. I also applied twice to it. I never heard back. I would love, to get into it, of course. That was something that was supposed to prepare me. But knowing how difficult it was to get in, I followed very, very closely the YouTube channel and the City of Charlotte's website, where you guys air all of your meetings and talk about community issues. So I've really, really taken notes and been involved that way. I've come in a couple times in person, but more or less I stayed informed online. I want to help with the community. On District 6, we do face certain things. I mean, it's infrastructure issues. We're having population. A lot of people are moving there. Also affordability. Affordability is a very big thing in District 6. So I'm in support of affordability in that district. So what I bring to the table, just from a personal standpoint, is from my job experience working with the city, doing roadways, working with city government on that note, and being a property manager and working with small businesses and seeing their needs and just dealing with issues of that sort. So that's what I bring to the table. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would hold myself out as an example. I'm just celebrated my 80th birthday in December. I've lived in southeast Charlotte in the same house. I built the house in 1984. One of the things I'm interested in is who speaks for what my grandchildren call the Q-tips. I have white hair, and I'm called a Q-tip. I accept that. And the problem we have is I don't know that there's anybody who stands there and feels what we really feel, what we're bothered with. You may think of grandparents, but are you familiar with the term unrealized capital gains? You know what that means? You know, unrealized, I've got the gain, but I haven't realized it. My house, when I built it, my taxes were $1,100 a year, city and county. Last year, they were almost $5,000 a year, city and county, $4,600 or something. The point being, and I'm told, but think how much it's worth. The only way I can realize that gain is to leave or move. I can't, I'm fortunate enough to be able to afford it, but I hear it all the time. I can't afford. I've watched at some of the meetings contesting value. I remember 2 elder sisters who I'm sure by now are gone, one way or the other, gone. And they were taxed out of their home. It had been their family home all their life. And the 2 of them were the only surviving members, and they had a tax bill that was like $6,000 or $7,000. They could not pay it. The only way out is to sell the house. I'm called every day. Have you ever thought about selling your house? No. I'm committed to staying there as long as I can. But I'm just one. I'm fortunate. And I believe that if we don't find a way to address that, it's like I watched the county just yesterday, a tax increase. And don't worry, the average citizen is only going to have a tax bill increase of $3 a month or something like that. Yet when you get the tax bill, it's not more than $3 a month. And the trap that you fall into is it's only $3 a month. It's only $5 a month. And the next thing you know, it's too much.
Thank you.
Now, put on my healthcare hat. The doctors in town cannot exist. Carolina's healthcare system cannot exist. Novant cannot exist if we don't have a significant number of Medicare patients.
Thank you,
If you
Mr.
ever
Rice.
ask the question where it comes from, it's a huge amount of money.
Absolutely. We appreciate you.
So my point would be, what I would bring would be somebody who's totally inexperienced who would say, you need to speak to some of the people.
Thank you so much. And then my last question is for Mr. Peacock and Mr. Doolin. Thank you. So as you all mentioned, you each have served on council before, one in the district and one at large. And so given that your experience was, I think, for both of you over a decade ago, I'd like to hear how you perceive the district has changed and what that means in terms of positions that you may have once held at the time, but given the current electorate, you may hold a different position.
Well, thank you. It turns out that light rail line, the blue line to Pineville, we took a lot of flack for that back in the day, and sure enough, it's not a home run out of the park. The development that's gone on, 2 of my 3 sons live along the light rail and ride it down into town for football games and concerts and everything. Unfortunately, they say nobody pays for it anymore. They ride it for free, but that's a whole nother subject. But the development along there, when we did the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and I was thrilled to be a part of that building, and the development that has gone along the road there along 277 has been unreal. The partnerships we made with the state to rearrange the roads, those are things that I'm really proud of. Like I said, the economic development piece of what I'd like to come help with is something we can all agree on. As a minority member of City Council, there only being 2 of us, you know, we have to go along, and I'll go along with the crowd, with the majority of the folks. But things like economic development, growing the lines out, the transit systems, those are things that we can all get along with, and I would hope have unanimous votes.
And I may, forgive me, have missed part of the nuance in your answer because I may just not be familiar with what your position at the time was, but I want to make sure that I'm clear. Given how, first of all, how your district has changed and what is an example of a position that you held then that may have changed now because the demographic of the district has changed?
Well, I was against the streetcar big time. And I, quite frankly, I don't know if y'all see the numbers of what the ridership is, but I don't. But, you know, apparently it's working out all right. And so whether it expands out through Plaza Midwood and on to used to be Eastland Mall, we'll have to see. But I'm thrilled with the way the light rail is working, and then all the way, of course, to NODA. And so I know that between now and next November, we're not going to make any, you know, we're not going to fix that problem. But I would look forward to coming down and joining the dais and having a little bit of a say on it. And those are the kind of things.
Thank you.
I hope that helped.
I appreciate it.
Councilmember Watlington, I'd say the biggest thing that I've noticed that's changed in District 6, and I was pleased to read about the change in the municipal service district for South Park to be able to be obviously a partner to University City and clearly Center City and the expansion to South Charlotte. But for many people, District 6 sort of bellwether for much of our tax base centers around the South Park Mall area. And the amount of high-rise development there and the congestion that's continuing to build will only continue to mimic the other cities that we've always aspired to be. I mentioned that I lived in Washington for 12 or almost 10 years. Great cities like Washington, D.C., Atlanta, your quality of life is directly proportional to your commute. And that starts to erode just a little bit every single year. And if you've tried to drive from right where we are to try to get to South Park Mall, that could be 10 minutes, 15, or hey, 45 minutes. And there's not a wreck. So congestion, density, and then the other piece that I'm so pleased with as well too is that we identified that there's a real walkability problem. It's not a pedestrian-friendly area. So when we read in the community area plans about 10-minute walkability, I argue that's the direction that we want to go. We want to try to recorrect some of the things that are pretty hard to undo in the way that South Park was developed. Now, of course, as District 6 continues, clearly you have Providence Road. You've only got 70,000 cars coming down that every single day. It is a state road, but all the connectivity off of that and the ability for this city to move people up and down there to get to our uptown center, this is extremely important. I read in the manager's plan, you come out with a very balanced use of your capital improvements. You're trying to balance it out in that area. It is arguably, it already has a lot of natural resources as far as wealth and the money and the things that are coming into it. But you can't take for granted, obviously, the people that work there, the bus system there. Again, the ability to get to the light rail. Andy's so right, because what we built down towards Pineville, that cuts right down to the other side, which is the South Boulevard line, which goes right down District 6 as well, too. So you got South Boulevard, you've got Park Road, you've got Providence Road, you've got all of our arteries that are coming in to Charlotte, and they got an enormous amount of congestion. So that is the biggest thing that I've noticed having grown up on that. It's just commute time is going to be significant, and obviously if we're encouraging more people to drive cars, there is no way we can build enough roads to solve this.
Thank you. And it may be an unfair question because people didn't necessarily know. They haven't been spending time studying the electorate, especially if they weren't considering running or anything like that. So I'll just say that one thing that's important to me that as the city has changed so much, the people in the city have changed. And we know that the District 6, the District 3, the District 4, the District 2 of decades ago isn't the same as it was. So I would be very much interested in whoever sits in the seat, their ability to connect with new residents and really understand what their views are and how those views may be different from the traditional. But thank you so much. I appreciate your
May I have
your
one
comments.
last moment?
I would defer to the mayor
Okay,
on that.
one last moment. Yes, ma'am. And a large part, they're young people coming back from college. I've got friends, Edwin's son just graduated from college last week, Friday. And you know, I say to people all the time, I'm so glad they went away to college. Please get them back to Charlotte because we need their brain power here. And so we're going to grow the city. And sometimes every now and then when I'm in heavy traffic, I say, God dog, who invited all these people to come live here? And then I go, oh yeah, I forgot it was me. You know, it was us. It was y'all. And so we're a growing city. And as I said before, we just have to make sure that it's a place where kids want to come and families want to come and grandparents want to come be near their grandchildren.
All right. I don't know, Ms. Mayfield has a question or? For other, so, and then we'll be followed by Ms. Johnson. Ms. Mayfield?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you both, Andy and Edwin. I don't have a question for you right now, but as I'm going to ask Ms. Poore as well as Mr. Chakra to come back up, I do want to, as you're making your way back up, want to say thank you to all of you and for those that may be watching that sent in an application but were unable to join us today, for showing your interest in wanting to be of service. I want to just get some clarification with you, Ms. Poore. You noted in here and you stated that you're currently a Mecklenburg County employee?
Yes.
So just for clarification, to my understanding, you are not able to work for local government and serve within the area. So if you work for the city of Charlotte, you're not able to serve within Mecklenburg County. If you work in Mecklenburg County, yeah, there's some rules around that. Like you could, like say if you lived in Gastonia, if you lived in Gastonia but you work here, you'll be able to apply there. Have you had a chance to speak with your leadership or with HR to see if you were selected, if you would actually be able to serve?
Yes, because I'm on the actual grant position. I work part-time at the county for the Domestic Violence Speakers Bureau and Love Speaks Out. And yes, I have spoken with my leadership in regards to that.
Oh, so you're more of a contract?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm a contract, so they identified before I went to go speak with them that it would not be a conflict of interest because my contract is going to be up. It's going to be up in 2026, although the grants could change because it was delayed. I started in April, so I've only been a month and a couple weeks into the role as far as officially on the books in that contract.
I just wanted to clarify that because I know we do have some language in place. So
yes,
if selected, I wanted to make sure that that wouldn't be a challenge. So thank you. And
appreciate you.
Also, I want to make sure.
I'm sorry, I'm very sorry to cut you off. The only reason I bring this up is because I noticed that we have dropped below quorum, and I just want to make sure per our rules of procedure we can continue to meet.
As long as.
Yeah, once you have a quorum, the meeting can continue despite the fact that a member has left. You still have the quorum. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wallington. I want to just get a understanding, because this is for a short period of time. So we're looking at potentially a couple of weeks. Council goes on summer break in July, then we pick back up August through the end. And I know you shared that you would want to make sure that voices are heard. I'm going to say for me personally, what I am looking towards is someone that understands what city council does versus the county's role, school board role, and where we are in this process. So help me understand, based on the meetings you have been able to watch and in community, what do you see your role if you were selected to fill out these few months with serving specifically on Charlotte City Council?
So when filling in the role specifically for city council, I do understand that the role is, one, it's a collective that we're working on issues that are specifically for the city, separate from the county. I do know that. From what I've watched, I mean, it's one detailed, and it's not something that's taken lightly. Each person respectfully has gone over different issues and brought things, and I have watched, I said we, but I have watched you, the entire council, be able to go over each point and to make sure everything is handled appropriately and making sure that we're just not missing over. So it's very detailed, the process. I know that there is a major difference from the county. Basically my role is volunteer. I only go to teach on awareness of domestic violence and on dating violence. So this is extremely different from that actual role. The council role, I know, is specifically for the bills and things that need to be passed to make our city more efficient and to be able to make sure we're moving in a positive direction.
Thank you. I appreciate you giving your response. Mr. Sari?
Yes,
Gary? Gary Sari.
Yeah, Gary with an S.
I want to change your name.
It worked, it worked.
I want to change it. Sari.
Yes.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
You know what, Mr. Chakra?
That
That
works
one
too.
I can do that one. I would like to also hear from you, thinking about the same question that I just asked, and recognizing that I'm trying to be as transparent as possible, is what is, it's a short period of time.
Yes.
It's a lot of work. It is, I tell people, even when they're campaigning, it is water from a fire hydrant. That is going to be exceed potentially as your role, and hear your understanding of the role of city council.
Yes. Honestly, I think the role is phenomenal. I think being able to speak with your counterparts, other representatives of the city that you live in, to come to conclusions and work together, get things passed for the benefit of the residents here in Charlotte. So as I stated earlier, I did follow on YouTube and the City of Charlotte's website, just interaction in the different committees. And that's how I've kept myself informed. So I see myself playing a role as spokesman for District 6, going around to small businesses, church, any kind of event going on, introducing myself and seeing what people's needs are and bringing it to the table here. So I just think I'd be phenomenal at it. I enjoy working with people. I think this is a bipartisan kind of thing to do, role. I don't think political parties play that much of a big thing when it comes to local government. We're here to serve our people and work together, and that's how I see it.
Thank you both, and again, thank you all for taking the time.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
To step in and offer yourselves. That's all I have, Mayor.
All right, Ms. Johnson?
Thank you. You two can stay up at the podium if you like. This question is for all of them. First of all, I'd like to thank you for your willingness to serve and the courage that it took to step up. I know when I ran the first time, I thought, just me taking that step, I felt like I had already won. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to ask everyone, how do the residents of District 6 benefit should council select you? Ladies
That's an
first.
excellent question. Yes, sure.
Well, the residents of District 6 will benefit by having me, if appointed by the council as a member, from my authenticity, my transparency, my willingness to work under pressure to get it done, to make sure that they know that I'm going to stand in the gap for them. That's very important, to be able to stand in the gap for someone. Being the heartbeat of that area is important, because sometimes we have to be the voice in the boardroom. We have to be that person to be able to speak when people don't have courage, or they think that their idea or suggestion is going to be shut down. Although I know for a fact, I've been in boardrooms and corporate settings. For 26 years, I worked for a company, and I know what it is to be suppressed, and I know what the opportunity is of being let go and released wrongfully, being unemployed. I know what that feeling is, and about being evicted. No, I know about the struggles of going through the city of Charlotte and using resources to overcome circumstance and be able to volunteer and then end up with a job after 9 months. This is just recent. They will benefit from me being in this role to be able to let them know that, yes, it doesn't matter where you start, it's where you end. It's not where you fall, it's how you get back up. And being able to know that there's strength in District 6, that we can overturn and make sure our neighborhoods are safe from the local things that are happening right there on South Boulevard last Sunday, the shooting, okay, from things that are happening in apartment complexes. People want to be able to go back and forth to school and take their kids to the bus stop without problems. Being able to have a better commute to South Park and to other parts of the area. Letting them know that there are real issues and there's real people in the seats, and that there's not just people on this council just making decisions lightly, but letting them know that we're taking everybody's views and vantage point into consideration. So they will benefit by me being in that seat by letting them know that they will have another set of eyes, another set of ears and feet and hands to be able to support them in their efforts to making sure that we're able to make sure our district rises to the occasion in a positive way.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak. I'm just going to piggyback a little bit off of, what she said regarding, hands, eyes, ears, just everything supporting those people. I think why, people in District 6 should select someone like me is because awareness. I think awareness is a really, really big problem that we have within our city. Not a lot of people knew about this application process, even though it was discussed and, it was on our city website and stuff. I feel like spreading the word and making people aware in District 6 what's actually happening across places and areas in our city and within our district itself. I think I would do a good job. People would appreciate that I would be there to communicate to them what's going on in our city. And I'll end it at that.
Thank you. If I can hear from the other gentleman, same question.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Good
I
afternoon,
do have
ma'am.
the same question, but I want to thank you for the blue line as the District 4 representative.
Yes,
We love it
ma'am.
over there.
We took some fire for that bad boy, but it's working out just fine.
Thank you.
And my sons are on it all the time.
How does District 6 benefit should we select you?
Well, as I said, concerning the budget process that's going on, going to District 6 and serving those folks again will be a virtual zero ramp up for me. Because I know their streets, I know their neighborhoods, and neighborhoods have ebbed and flowed over the years as they do all over Charlotte. But I drive around and I'm just so proud of what we've built in District 6 in and around the South Park area and around the city. My sons are so tired of me saying, yeah, I voted for that. Oh, yeah, I voted for that. They're just tired of it, but I'm proud of that. And so if I get a chance to come down and sit at the dais with y'all, which would be a big honor, there's all kinds of things that I will continue to be proud of, and we'll add to the list of things I can brag about as we grow Charlotte.
Thank you.
I know, that's so darn.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for the great question, Councilmember Brown. Two things.
Johnson, but that's okay. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Blurry.
Thank you.
Yeah, apologies. Two things. Experience and enthusiasm. I am somebody that realizes that you are serving District 6, but you represent the city of Charlotte. We're all part of a plan, and that plan is to advocate for this great city. And that is the mindset of, I think, of a very effective board member. Councilmember Doolin was in many regards sort of my model for how do you do constituent services. I was an at-large rep, but I got the same questions, and I learned the Emerald system upstairs on the 14th floor and how to be able to respond to a question about your water bill to, hey, we haven't had our trash picked up. So, I mean, those are constituent services things, but they're very, very important. So you need to know how to be able to navigate how that works. And it's not something I shy away from. I take it very seriously. 2 years is a long time to serve in order to do that. This is for 6 months. So I feel like I can do it.
Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you.
So I have one question. How many people live in District 6?
Well, you know, the districts are made to be somewhere around 116,000. And that number has gone up now, possibly. So I don't, Madam Mayor, I don't know the exact number.
Well, no, just kind of like in the range.
Yeah, 115 to 130, something like that. These city council districts are bigger than the state house districts.
Yeah.
You serve more people. And quite frankly, I miss helping people. I really miss it big time. And so getting to go do that again would be fun. And
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Is that the, how many people? Yes, a question for each of you.
Yeah, about 120,000, 115,000, I believe.
Don't know?
I'm going to say maybe 125.
Okay, thank you. And which area,
That means I'm going to have to get a whole lot of business cards.
so when you look at the way that the city has grown and the modeling of everything that we've had in terms of that, what would you say the thing that you would see that you would change most rapidly? What's something that you really want to see done differently?
Well, Edwin, you want to? Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've got a great answer for that. But we have, as we go through, as y'all go through the zonings, there's always a traffic study. And the traffic studies always say, oh, it won't add but 300 cars a day. Well, the traffic studies aren't accurate. If you try to drive anywhere throughout the city, and I drive through South Park every day, there's just a whole lot of traffic there. We've built these beautiful buildings, and I've said before, we've built them on the backs and with the money of developers who have taken the risk to build them. And sure enough, if people don't come and live there, and that adds to the traffic. And so, you know, we can't make that go away overnight, and we're certainly not going to make it go away between now and next November. But sitting at the dais with y'all again and discussing that, I mean, heck, I was out on Beatties Ford Road the other day, and it was packed. So, I mean, traffic's everywhere, and I'd really like to help work on that some too.
Edwin?
Mayor, I would say if I were to wave a magic wand for District 6, I would want to see more use of the bus. More people embracing that as a mode of transportation. I've always pointed to that as an area where the city of Charlotte could innovate. You can't look to the United States for how we go about moving people in and around. In many regards, you have to look globally. And I think right now the infrastructure and the encouragement of people riding a bus is just not very encouraged down when you go down Providence Road and Randolph and even up to the edge of the district, to District 5 as well, too. Again, we have to continue to make it easier for people to come to these areas to work. We saw that with District 7. We don't have Councilmember Driggs here, but I mean, it's a number one issue from the employer standpoint was getting people to Ballantyne in that big workplace area. So I would love to see more people choosing to ride as the way to come into the city of Charlotte. I don't know how to do that magically, Madam Mayor, but I would certainly be willing to try.
Well, thank you. All right.
Madam Mayor, yeah, I would say infrastructure and transportation in South Park. One of the biggest things we've noticed so far are like these new e-bikes. They are buzzing around everywhere. And despite that, there's been a lot of people on bicycles that are in that area. Thank you very much. Thank you. So I would say that infrastructure, more safety for, roadways, just even walking. I mean, we live by Phillips Place, and some of the sidewalks are in terrible condition. They're very old and small and very close to the road. So just looking at community plans that focus on infrastructure around South Park, and District 6 as a whole. Thank you.
Ms. Pori?
Well, I agree that we should make the buses more attractive for us to ride, right? But in District 6, along with that, we need to be able to provide for people who can't afford the bus. There's some people who can't even afford the bus to use it. So maybe there's some way to, or extend the hours during those work hours to be able to support the efforts, or even do maybe segments on, I know, social media or advertisement, like going from Providence Road to South Park to Pineville, to let them know these actual routes go to your job, and maybe even get some of the businesses involved to let them know this bus line runs right to this office building. When I used to work at Charter Communications, there was a bus that dropped off right in front of the building, right in front of it, right off of Airwood, okay? So definitely, if we had some way to make it more attractive and letting people know that this is a safe way to ride to work and back home with their groceries from wherever, it just makes more sense. People are visual. Everybody learns different. Everybody sees different. If they see the opportunity, even on social media, things like that, people will start to ride it even more. So that's my suggestion on making sure that would make a positive impact on the actual transportation. And also making it more well-lit at those bus stops at night. That is another issue, because working from 4 p.m. to 1 a.m. at a schedule, getting off at that time frame, the buses only run a certain time frame in certain areas. So if it's more well-lit, people will feel more safe to sit at a bus stop, to use it at a later time frame if they have a later job or shift in that area that requires them to have employment. We want the city to be full of employment and not unemployment. And so definitely by increasing those things, it will help to overturn that number.
Thank you. Thank you all. I believe, is there any other question for any of our candidates? I'm sorry,
Well, I learned a long time ago that you need to go out and put yourself in somebody else's shoes. And don't trust like a traffic count, or don't trust, I know there are buses that are up and down Providence Road, but they always look empty to me. And if I'm at Cotswold and I'm buying groceries at Harris Teeter, the bus doesn't do me any good on Randolph, because I have to get from Harris Teeter to the bus stop, and it's quarter block. And there's traffic running back and forth. In other words, it's easy to say we have a bus that's there, but if I can't get to it, it doesn't exist for me. So I'm just saying, walk a mile in their shoes. If someone says we have plenty of buses, go ride that bus. Some of you remember Harry Nurkin, who was responsible for Caroline's Medical Center.
Yeah.
When the tower was being built, and he looked out of his office one day, and they were framing out the sidewalks, and they were running around where the architect had laid them out. He ran down and stopped them and said, "Stop. Don't put the sidewalks in." And their answer was, "But this is where they're drawn in." He said, "I know, but we have to find out where the people are going to walk before we build the sidewalks." So in other words, he waited a year, and then he looked out in the grass and he could see the paths, and that's where he put the sidewalks. And that's a big lesson. Ride the bus, walk the walks, put yourself in their shoes.
Thank you very much. I believe that is the conclusion of the special meeting. Thank you. I can't imagine you have come in and want to be a part of this great city's operations and guidance, to give us guidance for everything. And I believe that you've done a terrific job in presenting everything that we would have in this meeting. It's been great. Thanks to know every one of you. And we will do this. I want you to know that the city council will be scheduled on Monday to vote on the new person to join D6. So that's Monday next week.
Mayor, may I ask
I'm sorry,
a
yes,
clarifying
please.
question? Are you getting ready to entertain a motion to adjourn, or are we staying a little bit to have, when do we have time for discussion prior to
I
Monday?
think that we were having that discussion on Monday.
So we're going to have our council discussion right before?
And before voting, the city clerk, let me just, this is a little bit of housekeeping for everyone. This, you know how we do the boards and commissions. The city clerk will have that early in the day, and then you'll have a choice. And I think that we would have conversations among ourselves, as well as if we need to have a meeting before the meeting that starts.
So if I can make a recommendation, even though we lost a couple of members just because of time, I would feel more comfortable if we as a body have a chance to have a discussion prior to us just submitting to, like we do with normal nominations and boards and commissions, where they say by 12 o'clock we need to submit it in. I think this is something where we deserve the opportunity for council to come together and be able to have whatever discussion we need to have, because it would be better, if at all possible, for us to get to consensus more than anything else. And the only way that happens is if we have a chance to dialogue amongst ourselves. So I don't know what that would look like, but I think that needs to happen prior to us just submitting our application.
Let's figure out if we can do that and make that possible. We'll have to figure that out. So, Billy?
One more thing I want to add, just for the record. The city clerk did send an email from Andrew Dunn, who could not be present tonight,
Yes.
with a video link of his
Presentation.
Yes, of his presentation. So just want to make sure that the councils are aware and have an opportunity to look at that before Monday.
And he did email us, Madam Mayor, saying that they had a prior commitment, but I did not know that there was a video.
So are there any other questions or comments from the council?
Nope, that's
No? Okay.
Move to
Do
adjourn.
we have a motion to adjourn and a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?